Another great application of the compliancy trigger qualifying is what I call sexual disqualifying. And to demonstrate this, I want to tell you a story, something that happened to me a few months back. And the example I give is a bit harsh. It's a bit of an over-exaggeration of using this tactic. But it's absolutely true, and it will demonstrate the power behind sexual disqualifying. So a few months back, I met this girl at a local community college near my house. Now, I have this routine, I should actually do a whole course on this, where I go over to community colleges, especially ones that are close to my house, and I meet these young bohemian women and I pull them back to my house. So in this case, I meet this young bohemian woman, very young, she must have been like 19 years old. Her and I hit it off. There's a strong sexual connection between her and I. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of how I approached her and the different things that I said to her. But long story short, she was into me, I was into her. And I noticed that she had this art book on her of different paintings that she's done. So I asked if I could see them, and I started looking at them, and I was like, wow, these are fantastic. You know, it's funny because I just moved into a loft right down the street, and I don't even have any art yet, and I really need some great pieces of art. I would love you to paint something for me. So she says, yeah, I could paint something. I'm like, well, why don't you draw something for me right now? So she starts drawing something, and I kind of move my head side to side, and I'm just like, no, you know, you're really going to have to see my place if you're going to paint something good. I mean, you're really talented, but you really need to see my place. And she's like, okay, well, we can exchange numbers. I'm all like, well, you can see my place now. And I get up and start walking, and she follows, and she's like, where are you going? I'm like, well, we're going to my place. And she's like, well, how far is it? I'm like, I said it was just right down the street. So we end up walking to my place. And when we get to my place, I show her my place, and I'm like, okay, now I want you to paint a picture for my place, okay? You need to get to work. And so she starts like doing this outline for a picture she's going to paint. And I grab a glass of wine for her and one for me, and we go out on my deck. I'm like, you can finish that later. We go out there, and we start talking, and I can tell that she's into me, but I have the feeling that she won't quite have sex with me yet. Well, the next thing she says to me is she says, you know, I'm a bit overweight. I really need to lose some weight, don't you think? And I look at her. Now, this is very harsh and this is very strong, but it worked in this circumstance. And I said to her, you know, why don't you go ahead and take off your shirt? And she said, take off my shirt? I'm all like, yeah, let me see if you're overweight. So she takes off her shirt, and then I'm all, take off your bra too. And this girl had huge tits. I was like, Jesus Christ. And so I said to her, you know, I got to be honest with you, honey. You have an amazing face. You have great lips. You have great eyes. You have an amazing ass. You have great breasts. But you are about 10 pounds overweight. And until you lose 10 pounds, I absolutely would not have sex with you. And she was like, ah. And she literally obsessed over the fact of trying to get me into bed after that. Long story short, hour and a half later, my friend comes over. And while he's over there, this girl ends up pulling me into my bedroom, and we end up having sex.